done at 9 o'clock in the morning as far as the admission to the NICU. Now, let's say at 10 o'clock in the evening, the child gets much more sick, and you've done their surfactant, you've done everything. You don't have a high-five ventilation at your hospital, so you have to transfer the baby out. And in the best possible worlds, the transport team is going to come before midnight. Okay, so let's assume that the transport team from the other hospital gets here at midnight. How do you document and what do you bill for? Okay, so I'm presented with this problem. I've had to do a lot of things on this baby, and I'm transferring him out to another hospital. He is still critical, so I want to get a new encounter for the same date, okay, which is today. And it's going to ask me, do I really want it? And I said, yes. Okay, so I go to the master, and this is going to be, because the transport team gets here before midnight, it's going to be admission discharge note because it's for the same date. Okay, the baby was admitted on the 11th, he's going out on the 11th, and he will be out the door, or at least being taken care of by the hospital he's going to by the time midnight comes around. If, let's say, it was the team was coming after midnight, so you were taking care of the baby before and after. So let's say you call them up at 10 o'clock, and then you write your interval note, and then they don't come until 4 o'clock in the morning. But you took care of that baby on the 12th also, so it's a little more tricky. You're going to have to the billing on the 11th would be critical, and then the billing on the 12th would be critical hours for the time between midnight and 4 o'clock when the team came there. You have to put down all the times. So we're going to do that right now, okay? For a baby the team is coming at 11:30. They're going to be at your door at 11:30, and it's 10 o'clock at night, or let's say 9 o'clock at night. So we're going to do an admission discharge same day, okay? And it's asking me, is this a new hospital admission? No, it's the same hospital admission. Okay, and so we have all that information. The maternal data is still there. The labor data is still there. The delivery data is still there. Okay, so I want to go to my physical exam and just put in worsening XYZ and respiratory worsening XYZ, and most probably by this time you have given some surfactant. Okay, I believe so. We have to put the intubation in too, and you most probably have put in lines. So let's go back to the NICU master, and what we're going to do is do some procedures here. We're going to do the intubation, and we're going to put in a UAC and a UVC. Okay. All right. I'm not going to go over how to do those procedures. There, you can look at one of the procedure note videos, but let's just say they are all done. Okay. And I have my medications. I most probably have given some surfactant. So I would go, if this thing won't freeze here, be respiratory, Cervanta, okay, and also I believe it would be a procedure too, so let's go back to the master and procedures. Is surfactant administration here. Vascular okay, I think it would be under ET intubation, and they would say, I believe, it says surfactant there. Let's look there. The tracheal tube for surfactant administration. There you go. Okay. And if you click that, medications, Survanta, etc. And I'm not going to go through all this again. Let's close. Let's return here. And now you come to the part where you have to change things, and you're sending this kid out. So you write in your problems why you're sending him out, etc. In the discharge planning section here, you go to the disposition. We're transferring to another hospital, and it is the initial critical day transfer. Okay, and we're going to send him. I don't know. I don't know even where this kid is residing right now, but I'm just. We called them at 2000. Okay, and now it's going to ask you these questions. If the team is coming before 10 o'clock, and let's say you still have things to do, coming before midnight, you still have things to do and have to put time in, you can leave this open. You know, as far as not putting things in, you can put any time in here that you spend with the baby, except the time that is doing procedures. Okay. So let's just say okay to that. We'll go cancel that, and we write our note. Okay. Thank you, master. We'll do our document, and the reason why I'm going to do this document is that you want to have a mission discharge note that you can maybe fax off to the other hospital. Okay. It might not be the final admission discharge. Okay. But it's something that you can fax off. It doesn't have the times in here because I didn't put them in yet because the baby's still here at 8 o'clock. I most probably will be spending more time with him. Now let's say it is now. So I print that note so I can send it off by fax to the referring hospital, to the hospital is going to be taking the baby. And now that they're coming very soon, and I want to go back in and put in all my times. Okay, so I go to detail up here. Again, that's when I call them. The bedside, and this is not just the time that after I decided to transport the baby, it's the time I spent the whole day taking care of this child. So how many minutes were you at this baby's bedside since he was born at 9 o'clock and not doing procedures? So let's say we were there 2 hours, or maybe even 3 hours. Okay, and reviewing the tests and labs, let's say 45 minutes. Okay, documentation. This most probably is a big one. We'll put 30 minutes documenting all the stuff that we had to do here. Discussion with the families can be a long time. Okay, so let's give them an hour and 30 minutes. Okay, and discussion with the referring hospital, again, it can be quite an amount of time. 30 also include the time that you're going to spend talking to them when they get there. Okay, so here we go. Realize that I did not submit, when I did that before, I did not submit an ESB because I didn't have the times in yet. Okay, so I go back to the master. I go back to my documents. And this is after I've already made the discharge, the admission discharge note. I go in and I click this again, and it says, do you want to write over it? I said, yes, of course I do, because I now have the times. Okay. And we'll look at the bottom here. I have all those times here, and I'm going to print that, sign it, and then when I go to the super bill, you know, you put in all your diagnoses up here. But look down here. This is the important part. It calculates out for you. Look at that. It didn't do it right. Huh. It didn't do it right. I don't know why. Okay, and I have no way of stopping this. This is QuickTime, so I can't stop the video. Okay, so it didn't give you each additional 30 minutes, and we know that we spent a long time. So let's go back here. And look and see why it didn't do that. I don't know why it didn't do that. So 375 minutes total. Let's save. We saved it already. Let's go back to the ESB. This is the ESB. Let's go to the master. And now let's go back to the ESB and see if anything happens. Here I am telling you folks all that it's all going to be done for you, and it isn't. Okay, so what do you do now? I always check to make sure that the 2291s and the 2292s, I'm sorry, the 99292s come out correctly. Well, we have a total of 375 minutes. What you do is you take 74 minutes, which is the first critical care bill, and you subtract it from 375. So 375 minus 74 gives you 301 minutes. Now you divide that by 60. I'm sorry, by 30. 30-minute intervals, which is the 99292, and you get 10 with a remainder of 1. Now that remainder of 1, believe it or not, is significant, because even though you only spent 1 minute above 10 times 30 minutes, that 1 minute gives you an extra 1. So it's not times 10, it's times 11. It's not going to let me put 11 in. So I go like this, and then I put 11. Okay, so if it's more than 10, you got to go like right there. Okay. So I didn't know how this was going to work out because I already had submitted something in here. And then I redid it here, and I didn't print it out the first time in my first admission discharge, and then I did it in my second because I knew how much exact amount of time that I had, and I redid it, and I realized, which surprised me, that the 99292s didn't come out correctly. So I'm giving you an easy way to figure it out. 300. Just take the number of minutes, subtract 74 from it. In this case, 375 minus 74 is 301. And then you divide that by 30-minute intervals. You get 10, and the remainder of 1 gives you an extra 30 minutes, believe it or not. So it's the 99292 is times 11. Now look, it submitted the critical, but guess what? I'm going to submit this one. Oops, it's saying that I have a procedure that I didn't write in. And the procedure, of course, was the surfactant administration. Okay, and the intubation, which I didn't finish that. Okay, but I'm going to submit this. You can submit, after you submit a bill, you can submit procedures. Okay, right? As long as it's not locked, you can submit a procedure. You can't submit another admission code or another subsequent day code. So this has been how to deal with a baby who's admitted in the morning as a critical, and you decide to send him out later on as a transfer. You can submit another ESB. You can make a note, admission discharge note, that doesn't have the times in it, so you can fax it off to the other people quickly. You don't know how long it's going to take them to get there, and then you put the times that you spent afterwards, and realize that to do that you have to figure out exactly how many 99292s that you have. All right, you learn something every day. Hope this was helpful.